for listening patiently for till now. Now we will be starting the panel discussion. So I would like now request Sachin Gagoi to take control of the dais and invite our panel speakers and start the panel discussion. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is still feeling energetic enough to go on for 1.5 couple of hours more. Well, thank you everyone for your participation and your enthusiasm to be present at this event. Next up is a panel discussion which we're going to have, and we have 7 eminent guests who have been working in their own domains and directly or indirectly advancing the legacies that we have from Swami Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla. I'll name them all one by one, and I would request all the dignitaries to please come and take their seats on the dais. First is Swami Vivekananda, Secretary, Ramakrishna Mission. We are honored to have with us the esteemed Secretary of Ramakrishna Mission. Swamiji has dedicated his life to the noble mission of spreading the timeless teachings of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. Thank you, Swamiji. Next is Professor Velimir Abramovich from Serbia. We are delighted to welcome Professor, a distinguished Serbian philosopher and scientist renowned for his pioneering work in the science of time and his contributions to the philosophy of science. Next is Mr. Goran Marjanovic, Director at Tesla Scholar, Belgrade, Serbia. We are pleased to welcome him, whose innovative work in Tesla technologies and scholar fields continues to push the boundaries of scientific exploration. Next is Eva Mia Kruslin. We are not done with you yet. We just listened to her and her amazing presentation. We are excited to welcome Eva, a renowned author from Croatia, celebrated for her insightful work on leadership, mindfulness, and holistic living. Next is Mirjana Projevic, Tesla Square, Serbia. We are honored to welcome you here. Her innovative work in digital transformation and strategic positioning continues to inspire and influence businesses world over. Next is Susan Griffith-Jones, creative artist. We are thrilled to introduce you and welcome to this platform. She's a visionary creative artist from the UK, renowned for her innovative works that seamlessly blend art and spirituality to inspire her audiences. Next we have is Monk Saitong, who has been a proponent of Vivekananda's philosophy and along with that Buddhist philosophy. So we welcome you all for this panel discussion. Some ground rules. Well, Indian TV talk shows can be very vocal and very boisterous, I would say. Since it's not a TV environment, we intend to have a very calm, comfortable conversation regarding this important topic on science and spirituality in connection with Swami Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla legacy. We will try to wrap it up in about 1 hour. There'll be some questions, and after that, we'll be happy to take some audience questions. So we're set to go. I think I'll just pick up a mic there because it's going to be quite difficult to stand and interact with people. Just 1 second. I can sit here. pass on the mic from one another. Let me start from Swamiji. You have spoken at length about the connection between science and spirituality. What do you feel are the main challenges in achieving that harmony?
Okay, the main challenge I think is from the field of science. Vedantic side or religious side, I think it has been little more open for discussion, but scientists, superficial scientists, of course, usually they brand a religion or spirituality just a set of dogmas and rituals, and they don't take religion seriously. But there are some truths in each religion. So if science is really a search of truth, then no domain should remain unapproachable for science. And that's why religion and spirituality should also be taken by science with more open heart, with more open arms. So both sides, and from religious point of view also, I should say, as I was telling in the morning, Swami Vivekananda said that religion also should remain open to investigation as physical sciences are. So if both sides keep open their doors for discussion, if both sides try to cooperate with each other, I think ultimately both science and religion, they are in the search of truth. If that is our goal, then I think those conflicts will be less. So challenges are there, but we have to remove those obstacles from our mind first, and then in practical field, naturally some problems will come. But more we come together, more we'll be able to find solutions.
Sure, thank you. Now I would like to hear Mr. Mahajanovich's perspective. Same question. I mean, do you see any difference in Serbia for that matter, or from the perspective of a science? Do you subscribe to what Swamiji has mentioned about the challenges?
Well, I am an engineer of telecommunications, and I am dealing with theoretical physics more than 40 years, and with Tesla legacy more than 20 years, and also last 5 years with the ancient knowledge. So I can I am the author of the energy density quantized model, so I can see the Tesla legacy in a much wider form than science can. So my analysis show that in essence Nikola Tesla is the scientist who get much closer to the ancient knowledge than any scientist of the world. Vivekananda helped him very much to get to deepest insights of this reality.
Thank you for your perspective. Now I would want Professor Abramovich's perspective. Where do you think is the balance?
You see, there is enough energy in the universe for anything. And what people are doing, they're producing energy, and that is completely nonsensical. I mean, we just have to realize, to understand, to be conscious of how cosmos is doing something, and to use that knowledge. And that's simple like that. But our efforts are directed in completely wrong way. I mean, scientific effort, I mean, enormous funds, like billions and so on, which cannot help to humanity to solve the energy problem. An energy problem in the universe is solved since ever. So we have just to understand. So I think that the whole thing is to be conscious of a completely new situation which is going to transform the world, but that situation is absolutely spiritual. It is not a materialistic level where we can solve that. Otherwise, we are going into wars, you know, like you have energy, we don't, and then we make a war. I mean, come on. So we have to change all that, and finally to start behaving like human beings which are made by God.
Thank you, Professor Abramovich. I would like to hear from Mong Saitong. What has been your experience? Do you see this conflict similarly, around you in your country?
Hello. Good afternoon. Yes. From my country, if you ask about the conflict about spiritual and the scientists in my country, I have said that I'm not see any because I'm in young generation. Is I kind of say I can see, but if like they said that the balance between science and spiritual is like to not harming too much, as doctor said. If we are only be a great scientist, but we don't have ethic and morality.
Spiritual direction.
Yeah, and morality. The whole world will become a war, as doctor said. But Swami Vivekananda, he's tried to make a balance between spiritual and scientists, because as Nikola Tesla, he's science doing like finding the truth outside, but spiritual also finding the truth from inside. That like I am the youngest now, and they also like I am sitting among the legacy, like the history of person here, and I would say that that is the conflict between spiritual and scientists. Like not much to harm. Like we need to put the morality between them. That will be the conflict. Thank you.
Sure. Well, I mean, perspectives from young and old, everything is welcome, isn't it? Well, I mean, when we've been talking about conflicts, I believe, way more than academic discussions, discourses, conferences, probably popular culture, art, they go a bit longer in resolving conflicts, isn't it? So in that sense, I would like to ask Susan, where do you see the role of culture and art in bringing harmony between science and spirituality?
It's a very nice question. I think this has a lot of answers and a lot of different facets to this answer. So I'm just going to go straight to the point. I think that this discussion that goes on between science and spirituality, between science and spirituality, is actually the eternal war that each of us is fighting inside of ourselves to go beyond the dualistic world. So for example, I take my own life as an example, having studied, practiced, and tried to put into daily effect the spiritual teachings that I've received from my masters. Having walked this spiritual path, per se, I arrived at the road of science. What I have just shown to you here, my model, which is I'm envisaging as a huge installation to clear up the space and to bring beneficial energy for all biological creatures, the earth, the land, the elements, on all layers of subtle energy, is a piece of art. But it came to me because of a spiritual path that ended up in the world of science. So that balance in itself somehow already occurred to in my artistic life. And where it's leading from here, I don't know. I mean, I was longer so far, as in relative years, on a spiritual path than I have been on a scientific path. So as I encounter and meet different people with such amazing levels of scientific knowledge, I myself learn the next steps, a little bit more, which I then reflect back onto my knowledge of spirituality, because now it becomes a kind of ping-pong of consciousness. The scientists say this. But the spiritual people say that. Woohoo, same. So beautiful when you can knit these so-called different philosophies or ideas about life together into one. It means the same, it's just different language. It's just another symbol. Language is a symbol. So I don't know if I've really answered your question there, but I think art plays an incredible role because it's a symbol, it's a display, it's a way to express something without putting words to it and without saying this is scientific or this is spiritual. It could be both. Today I took the scientific angle on this, but I could, well, a little bit. I went into the spiritual, but I could have gone deeply into the spiritual of it. You see? So it gave me, my piece of art gave me the possibility to discuss both science and spirituality.
Surely. Thank you, Susan, for that answer. Yeah, it definitely does answer the question. Now I would like to listen to Mirjana. You have the experience of working with businesses all over the world. Where do you see this harmony being established? I mean, do you see there are certain companies, certain businesses who are little more forward-leaning as regard to efforts to bring harmony in these two aspects? Maybe there are some who are not. So do you see that kind of differences? And what's the outcome, what's the result of that difference?
Thank you. Excellent question. I saw you first time, but you just pointed in the center. I will just add that 30 years working on the business level, on the 4 continents, show me that people is just awaking, starting awaking. Why I take these glasses? This is produced in Serbia. It's Tesla Hyperwear, eyewear. There is the glasses are very important. It's 8 patents of Tesla, very special liquid inside. And scientists with Dr. Joro Koruga, that professor knows him very well, they produce the team of scientists, but in the spirit of Tesla, which means for me also the second thing that I have, and also a lot of people ask me what is it. It's one device. It's Lucha T8. Lucha on Serbian is a light, and there is a special lights here. I will switch off, and there is a 7.83 hertz Schumann resonance. When you have it, you're in the balance with the planetary vibration, which means that people in business, they just feel on which way they can use business as a channeling for the products who use the spirituality for your better living. I have so much products like this in the last 10 years. But I must say something in the previous questions that you heard for algorithm Tesla. I have one very special woman. She asked me for the consulting services. She was born in Africa. She grew up in Montenegro, in Bosnia, and now she lives in Germany. She's an African girl, but she's the artist, painter. And she finished the Faculty of Political Science. She's expert in IT sector, but she said, Mariana, I feel it, this artistic impression of spirituality. And she works only triptych, which means free painting in one line, and only with the planetary ether messages. And she asked me just last week, maybe did they have your permission to be, and to say on my website that I'm a part of Algorithm Tesla. This was the biggest compliment that I received for somebody who never see me, only on the Zoom, that people feel inside of that, and art, and we have the music people, from the different fields. And the business, as I told them, this is quantum management. This is totally new approach, holistic, that we integrate all other energies and just give them placement to show up, to be visible. And just to finalize in the first question, for me, it's like a golden medal on the Olympic Games, you know, you have the first side, golden side, and inside. Spirituality is here, science is there, or the contrary. Somebody who enters as a scientist, he needs the spirituality to finalize. If we enter through spirituality, he will find the science on which way he can express himself. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'm basically trying to build this ground up, and let me now come to Eva, who's going to talk about leaders. Well, when we talk about conflicts like this, I'm inclined to believe that, you know, leaders play an important role to solve or complicate a conflict like this. And I believe, you know, there would be differences between different countries. So, do you feel that leaders in certain parts of the world are more forthcoming or are taking initiatives to resolve this conflict between science and spirituality compared to some other countries, some other parts of the world?
Well, thank you for this question. Yes, when I was I just want to say one thing. Just a picture came to my mind, so it's obviously something that I have to say. When I was at Harvard University, I've studied for the master's degree there, and Ban Ki-moon from UN came. So I talked to him. Yes, and I asked him, so why are there so many problems? And you know, and he said, well, one of the things that I've realized that why conflicts don't get solved is because there are a lot of selfish interests on each side, too much selfishness. So he openly said it. I mean, when I asked him in front of everybody, as a ex-former UN general, so he had the highest perspective, and he said too much selfishness. So when you're asking me from where does the initiative come, so I've just given an interview for the Croatian newspaper when they asked me, so who would I point out as the leader that is really inspiring to me today? For me, it's Premier Modi, so your Premier of India. Why, Prime Minister? Why? Because he definitely lives this dharmic way, and I believe that within 20, 30 years' time, we will see what he has done and how he's doing the transformative work. It's still early. He's been in power for 15 years, but I strongly believe that he has a really deep spiritual practice. His staff has a deep spiritual practice, and he is aware of everything I've talked about today in terms to China. He's flying. If there is a war, he would go. Putin, India. So he's to Ukraine. So he's really traveling around and trying to lower the level of conflict. I will not say make peace, but try to lower the level of conflict.
So from your perspective, I mean, what are the things that can possibly be done in order to bring this harmony more among the leaders? And I'm not necessarily talking about the top leader, but generally people who are playing leadership roles in societies, in countries, in states.
Yeah, I think that this kind of knowledge should be transferred to them, that it's not just about management, about just mental practice, about their well-being, like, oh, am I running enough? Am I doing enough? Like just mental practice, but really opening up to the realm. If you want to do really transformative changes, well, this is the path. They have to be educated. It's a process. It's a process.
Sure, thank you. I mean, I would like to believe that initiatives like this can also go a long way in that, isn't it?
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks for your answer. Now let me go back to Swamiji. You actually gave some nice anecdotes and examples from Swami Vivekananda's life. What would come to your mind if I request you now to give an example of something that Swami Vivekananda had done in the past that could have, helped solve some real life problems in today's era?
Oh, the latest seminar itself. Vivekananda did something more than 100 years back, and as a result, today you see from Serbia to UK to Thailand to India, from artists to entrepreneurs to writer, many people are there from different fields. We have come together, we are discussing something which is our common problem in the sense everyone needs energy. Professor was talking about wars, but most of the wars, etc., whatever outer reasons are there, but they are actually for grabbing resources, and energy, I think, is the most important resource which human beings need. So, Vivekananda wanted to bring scientists and spiritual people together. Let me tell you one thing in the context of the previous question also. This conflict between science and religion, actually it is more superficial, or I can say in other terms that it is more from Western perspective. In India there has never been conflict between science and spirituality. We have considered everything as spiritual itself. For us, science also was a spiritual something. If you see our history, most of the scientific discoveries were also covered by those people whom we call revere as rishis and munis. And so for us this difference between science and spirituality didn't exist. But Western conditions were different, so slowly those ideas came to our country also. So if you consider everything as spiritual, then only you see it becomes possible for people from different backgrounds, from different languages, having different mental capacities to come together and discuss something. So I think in the best example, what you were asking about is this seminar, and if we can strengthen such things, if we can strengthen the scope for discussions, definitely this so-called conflict also will, if not vanish, at least it will reduce to a great extent.
Thank you, Swamiji. We probably can give ourselves a pat on the back, all of us. Now let me hear from Professor Abramovich. You talk really nicely about good people creating good robots, bad people creating
Should
bad
be
robots.
like that.
Can you please elaborate a little more on that, what you had meant when you were talking about that?
Well, besides Dharma leaders, which is very good formulation, we need karma healers, and that is Swamiji. Why? Because people are doing bad things to themselves, and that is the problem of self-consciousness. I mean, simply, we need on the planet level, we need a decision of authorities to redirect, for example, military budgets to science. And that is so simple like that, you know, because what is really problem is that people want, for example, to live very long, but it is life is very temporary and it is limited. And what does it mean? It means that we have to know much more about time, about space, about matter, about energy, and all of that. Actually, matter, it is mass. So matter is everything, and time and space and mass and energy. We do not understand world in which we live. Even we cannot govern our own bodies. We are automats of cosmic forces. Literally it is so. And the other things, for example, is that from where comes the scientific discovery? It does not come from the books, or you just read a lot and then you will make a discovery in science. No, it is blessing. It comes from above. And for that, you have to be open-minded. And that is actually what shows us that the same source of science and art is the consciousness which is above any kind of work. So we, I think, overestimate the work much, because universe is doing whatever is necessary. So we just have to understand it and to take it. And that's all. But also the problem is not that we do not put enough effort or energy in working and so on. No, completely differently, opposite. Actually, we need only to understand, and that's the whole thing. And that's why Ramakrishna Mission and our I say, okay, association, let's call it so, will do that understanding essentially and recreate what is already done in the universe and actually what is given to a man, but we don't use it because simply I now will citate Tesla, because we are stupid. I mean, stupidity is what prevents evolution of man. Stupidity. And that is the problem. And that we have to realize, to admit and say, okay, let's now be philosophers, be saints, be scientists, but in the best way, so that understand that actually we need spirituality for everyday life. And that is the point. Not money, not power, not materialistic goods, because all of that is actually preventing us from soul welfare and nice, which is always rooted in spirituality, nice life, which means love, which means compassion, which means understanding between people, and to be healthy. Body and spirit all together, but body cannot be healthy without a healthy spirit.
Thank you. That's such a wonderful line. Nice life means compassion, health, and what else did you mention?
Love.
Understanding, love. Yes. Thank you so much. I would like to hear from Mr. Marjanovic now. You have been walking in an area which is inspired by Nikola Tesla's legendary work in various fields of science. Now, he is someone who had done pioneering work that has multiple uses. You know, some of that can be even used for devastating purposes. Talk about energy-directed weapons. On the other hand, you know, energy transfer, electricity transfer, things which are ensuring well-being of the mankind. How do you make sure that, you know, your work continues the legacy that came from both Swami Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla?
My wider answer will be given in the presentation after this. But in essence, for me, Tesla is intellectual genius who left us great knowledge and technological basis for the much better life than we live now. By my investigations, Nikola Tesla is a scientific Prometheus of the new world. And what he often asks is the solve for all problems which our civilization has now. Energy is one of the greatest. So, what's the problem? Problem is in Tesla's very controversial ideas which he have about structure of this world. And he's somehow expelled from science as a real scientist. But his knowledge is really great. I will show that he solved a lot of problems, and knowledge of the ancients, and especially Vivekananda, helped him to understand this world and came to ideas which are very, very controversial, but that ideas can be realized. Receiving the radiant energy from the sun and transmit that energy, free energy, absolutely free, wirelessly to the whole world is absolutely possible. You will see that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now I'd like to hear from Eva. In your last answer, you talked about selfishness, which is causing problems in many parts of the country. As we talk, there are two major wars going on in the world, Middle East, Europe. What, according to you, would be the path for us to address that selfishness? Because addressing selfishness will probably not come only by propagating certain ideologies, because we are living in a world where countries and even individuals are becoming increasingly insecure about the resources available at their disposal. So isn't it more about lack of resources which is causing this anxiety and selfishness?
I can say, so I live in Croatia. We've entered into European Union like 5-6 years ago. We received a euro about a year ago or 2 years ago, a year ago, and everything was everything is like 100% more expensive. Just life has become, in terms of financial aspects, harder. People, the money aspect now, the wealth aspect became very, very important, and the children are very bombarded. I have 2 kids, one 15, one 20, and I can see how they're targeted with social media. I mean, they're part of this world. You cannot completely isolate them, but this money aspect and wealth is so much present in their lives through the social media. It's, for me, it's about education. So I do it with my kids. I educate them that this is not the ultimate, that there's more to life than this. But really having structured, opening this, normalizing this spiritual aspect in as much academia as possible, in as much schools as possible, especially in the West, because there's a lot of intoxication with just the materials things, which is increasing the selfishness aspect in people's bodies and minds. Yeah, I feel really bad sometimes because I see they have not even started growing up yet, and how they're so infiltrated with just the money aspect. It's so sad, especially in the West. So I'm trying to keep, the people that I know, the heads up a little bit, that this is not the ultimate for what we live for. But I think that discussions like this will definitely raise awareness, going out to the world and talking about this.
I think this is the beauty of an opportunity like this, to be able to sit together and discuss about these seemingly contradictory points. Because as you were talking, I was wondering, you were talking against consumerism and materialism, and there we are. We have Mirjana, who's probably thinking about how to advise a particular business to increase profitability. So what would be your answer to her questions or concerns?
Yeah, there is one or two words very important on algorithm Tesla. These 2 words is strategic philanthropy. And this is what I'm doing. I'm giving my own example, how with the very, very rich people can be useful with that richness in the spirituality for the better humanity. And this is the question. How I presented to the kids in Academy for the Kids, Tesla Genius, I said, the selfie, for the selfie is not good. You're alone on the photo. You need a lot of other colors in your life, a lot of other personalities to grow up. If you are alone, you are selfie. This is the root of the word selfishness. Anyhow, strategic philanthropy is very important, but I need to connect you with something else what we really work hard, because this is a World Energy Conference. We have one scale from 1 to 1,000 lighting units. As a humanity, we are in this moment about 240, which is a level of neutrality, which is good, 0 point field. Anyhow, now is a momentum to work hard, to take interaction and to put intention what we want. Conference like this, I'm very grateful that we are together here now. Thank you, Manash, and thank you all of you in my name, personal name, because we really give example on which way we need to communicate. We have a perfect products who can be better for our living, but we need to share that information, but also through the energy motivation and also through the energy knowledge, because we are united in one God, in one universe. And this is very important that we understand that with the mind. Sometimes people can feel it better than they can understand. Sometimes people understand, but not feelings. This is the harmony between transformation, it's a mind, and metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is your heart, your center, because this is the highest and most powerful energetic center in the universe. This is your connection, a micro-perception with the macro. This is how I work with the kids, because for the 10 years, they will be a lector. They will life is a choice. You need to make choice every day. This is the reason, as I told you, to be on the scale 240, it's already something, you know, but we need to work a lot of ourselves. As somebody said, I think it's you, the ego was a very big obstacle on Swami Vivekananda knowledge. But he said, okay, ego and education. I memorized that. Okay, be open, work, believe, and also always do that in harmony and respecting the differences of the others. Not tolerance, respect. We just talked with some young boys here and with the monks. I just explained I work 15 years in interreligious dialogue and the peace on the Balkan. And I have a lot of lessons, but this one, respect, not tolerance, is one of the most significant for me. This is also in business, this is also in life, in your family, in your brother neighborhood, wherever you are. Just be the best of you, and then you will be attractive. I will just finalize that. We have 3 types of how we perceive reality. Man reactor, man transformer, and man generator. Now we are between man reactor and man transformer on the humanity. Here you can feel it that we have men who generate, which means when we work about this, we give the kids reality of how to be generator. This is very important, because transforming yourself, you're transforming all around you. As Gandhi said, be the change if you want to change something. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your perspective, Mirana. That was wonderful. Now I think I really like the way this conversation is going. One thing is leading to another, following a logical pattern most of the times. Now, you know, you talked about sharing. And, you know, at the same time, I was talking about artistic expressions. Well, more often than not, art has given outlet to people and has brought harmony in a lot of issues. But at the same time, recently I saw, I don't know how many other people in this room had read about this news about a banana pasted onto a wall by duct tape earned a few $1 million in auction. So, you know, and what the owner of the auction is going to do? Eat the banana. I mean, what do you have to say about artistic expressions of this kind?
I honestly have nothing to say at all about artist expressions of this type. It's not, I mean, obviously there's something behind that makes the person do it. It may be just simply stupidity. It might be simply just, I'm going to do something so odd and so different that people are going to go, oh, wow, that's really cool. I don't know. This doesn't fall into my consciousness category, so I really can't comment on it, actually. But what I really wanted to say after Mariana's conversation now, and also Eva's discussion about leadership, is Mariana left off by saying generator, but I would use the word also resonator. So those leaders, for example, who become themselves so powerful that they can inspire those around them to carry on the legacy that they are wanting to expose in this world. it happens. This is a scientific thing. This is a spiritual thing. It comes from the heart, and it comes from the energetic system of the person, that they will, like a candle lighting another candle, will just ripple through people, and they will themselves become resonators, who become resonators, who become resonators. And I think I have this image, as you were both talking actually, this image came to mind of people just lighting each other up, because they themselves have the source code, let's call it, within them, and can inspire others to do the same. Coming back to the artistic thing, the banana on the wall, I really have nothing to comment about. It seems to me quite stupid, sorry to be judgmental, because I actually don't know what's behind the banana stuck on the wall. Maybe it's something very profound and I just don't know about it. But yes, of course, you see, art also has this capacity to be an inspirational device that can carry people through to another higher level of consciousness. And in that sense, an artistic piece can also be a kind of resonator. So
Sure.
there are many, many ways to look at it, actually. But I think art, yes, of course, has a fundamental need. There's a fundamental need for something to break the left-brained, very methodical thinking process, and art can just take you straight out of that and into the, let's say, much larger and deeper aspect of who you really are.
Surely. Thank you, Susan, for your answer. And I had used the question about the banana more metaphorically, and it just as a provocation. Thank you for answer. Now let me hear from Mong Saithong. I mean, we have talked about certain challenges, we have talked about certain possible solutions. Where do you see the future? I mean, you said yourself you are someone from the new generation, and you have seen how things have panned out in the past many years. Where do you think the future lies? How do you go ahead when we talk about adopting the philosophies of Swami Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla? How are those things going to guide us?
After healing, after heard the legacy they discussed, that very great. In the future, to guiding a young generation, after we have this conference and we discussing, as Doctor said, in my opinion, I think understanding, harmony, and metta, according to Buddhism, Buddha, he said the middle part. You have heard about that. Middle part mean people have to go in the middle way, not go to this way too much or this way too much. If we have much the spiritual, but we don't have the scientists, it will make us only fool, like fullness. But if we have go too much only scientists, but we don't have morality to read them, that also will make the whole world is chaos. That, in my opinion, that as the question, what is the guidance, the young generation, with both of this mixing, I would say metta, love, kindness, understanding, that will make young generation, scientists and spiritual, will make the whole world is better and happy in society. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I would like to wrap up by asking one question to Swamiji, and probably I would like to hear the perspective of Professor Abramovich as well. My question is again picking up from good robot, bad robot. I believe we need a lot of scientists who are directed by spirituality. At the same time, we need a lot of people on the spiritual side who are able to talk logically and scientifically. Do you personally feel that sometimes that balance is missing? We do not have too many people amid us who are able to authoritatively talk about both sides, and that presents a big problem for us all.
Yeah, that crisis is there, but as we already heard from other learned speakers, our basic problems are with selfishness, ego, etc., and having possession of the world. If we have values in our families, because when a child is born, if the family has values, those values are inculcated by a child. The same child later on in future he becomes a scientist or a purely spiritual person or a businessman or whatever it is. Basic thing is regarding life, if we have certain values, then person has freedom to go in any field. Going towards science or going towards spirituality, that is not a big thing of big concern. Thing is whether person is oriented in some, he is grounded in some values or not. What Vivekananda used to say, he used to talk about man-making education. He didn't believe in this education which was only able to feed us. Even his guru, Ramakrishna Paramhans, you see, at the age of 16 or 17, he was scolded by his elder brother that why you are not going for formal education. This boy, village boy, who was hardly 16, 17 years old, his plain answer was there that I don't need this education, which is only bread earning education. I want that education by which I can love all the people, I can serve the society, I can fulfill my own life. So when we have such values, then I think this what your question was there, that we have to bring more and more people towards spiritual side. That question itself will not arise, because when we are raised as a human being, then only we are able to contribute to the society. And that's why this means, sorry to differ to some extent, but good person will create good robot and bad person will create bad robot. That is true at material level. But then how to decide who is good or bad? The person whom we label as bad, that has become bad only because he was not able to inculcate some values in him. And we have seen many such examples when even a so-called bad person comes in contact of some good person, he changes himself. So the thing is, if we raise human child as a real human being, I think this most of our problems will be solved. Nowadays what happens, the present way of education, present system of education, it only puts effort on how to make more money. Earning more is not the solution of any problem. Those who are millionaires, they also have problems, and I think they have more problems than a so-called poor person. Poverty does not lie in money. Poverty lies in mind itself. If a person is poor in values, if a person has no concern for others, then he is more dangerous for society. So earning money or becoming scientist or becoming entrepreneur, those are choices. But basically everyone should be a good human being. And then this question of bringing people towards spirituality or bringing people towards science, that question itself will not exist.
Thank you, Swamiji. Professor Abramovich, your perspectives, please.
Problem with money is really a great problem, but actually, you know, for thousands and thousands of years, all the governments and czars and the kings are printing money, but still there is no enough money. I mean, that's strange with money. Obviously, on the material level, you cannot fulfill desire of the soul, and especially not spiritual, let's say, not desire, but a spiritual law. And what is spiritual law? It is, how I see it, it is the way to avoid karma. If you have dharma like it should be, then there is no karmic burden after. But with the science and technology which is developed on the West, we do not have those notions of karma and dharma at all in scientific language, in scientific research. And that is something unbelievable, because what we call matter, it is only the complex pattern of vibrations. It is not really solid, and we know that, and still do not have the conclusion that we need a kind of spirituality in science which will be directly connected to what we call awareness and the consciousness. So to understand that we as human beings are, people say that, but who realize it, that we are of divine nature, which means maybe that we are fragments of a God, or God experiment, which we call universe, cosmos. And now, what I really think it is possible, because we are talking, this conference today is actually proves that we are aware of what is necessary in science and in everyday life. What is science? What is spirituality? It is about us. It is when we sleep or are dreaming, or when we are awake, who we are actually. Do we really know who we are? Of course, we don't know that. So the search of spirituality in science must be the search to the essence of being, of our being as humans, and also being of the universe, which must coincide. Actually, that is all the same. So what we need is a decision to redirect the science research in the right way. And that right way is absolutely Advaita Vedanta way, or scientific spirituality at this moment, which includes also experimental level. But that experimental level can enable us to choose a time coordination or to build a world which can suit us with the best feeling of happiness. And that is something which is the promise of spirituality to science, if science can become really spiritual, and that is needed. Otherwise, this civilization, civilizations with nuclear bombs and with all these destructive means will simply end. And this is the time to change it, absolutely. So I'm very optimistic because of this conference, because of people who are thinking as we are all over the world. So it is a kind of astral meeting which is now not only in this room, but it's all over the planet is on. And we are put some effort, esoteric effort, but also a conscious effort to change all that. And I think the time has come, and that we'll definitely succeed in it. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thanks a lot. With this, I would like to throw the conversation open for the audiences. If anybody would like to ask any question to the panelists or any of the panelists.
My question is to Professor, sir.
It will be nice if you could identify yourself and ask the question, please.
Next to Swami, sir. You.
Okay.
So when did the inception of conflict arises? Is it, like you said, the Jars brought money to the state, despite that there was conflict still taking place. And if you take the example of France invasion to Russia, secondly, Greece against Persian. So when can a man be satisfied with wealth, or is it even possible, or is it just a rosy picture?
It's extremely sad for humanity and for the history of humanity that our leaders are politicians and generals. I mean, generals are killers and politicians are liars. And that is the problem. We need spiritual leadership, scientific, and in the best way, and also philosophers and artists. That's what we need for humanity to find the exit of this situation, which is unbearable. Everybody will tell you. I mean, independent of the position. Could be minister of the government, could be man on the streets. He said, we cannot go this way further. We have to change. To change what? But not to change material world, but to change our aspects of the of the physical reality and to change actually our approach. And that approach cannot be changed towards materialistic, but only exclusively towards a spiritualistic level. And that is something which is given to people. You have so many really religious, in the best way religious, not only belonging to churches and temples and so on. Okay, I very much respect them, but there are some peoples who have direct connection with the deities, with the higher levels of existence, and those are to be included in the solution, to be part of the solution. This conference should be next conference with a much more people included of this kind, so philosophers, artists, spiritual leaders, and also scientists. In Moscow, in Kiev, in Belgrade, in Washington, people need it, and that is something where we can do a lot. But you know, to pursue people that we are right, we need some physical experiments. That is a problem. So we'll make the solution for energy problem, and that is Vivekananda Tesla's science of ether physics. So we solve your problem, and you will believe us, that is for sure. I mean, the humanity.
Thank you, Professor Abramovich. Any more questions?
How to strike a balance between spirituality and science, or how to measure and how to keep a balance for a person? Now it is, sorry, my question. Much aware about these spirituality and the science and keeping the balance of both. What do you advise how to strike a balance between both of, and the answer should be to a common person, not a well-educated or intellectual people, in fact. So how to strike a balance, and what should be the measure of that, in fact? This is my question.
Would like to take this question? Do you have anybody in mind?
Who is going to lead that transformation? Those who will be blessed with understanding of the laws which are governing physical reality, and those are actually philosophers, scientists, spiritual people, all together. Also spiritual engineers, not only engineers, spiritual engineers. So I think that if we make, in simple words, we make like an institute, there we take, for example, Tesla Archive, where you have already 37,000 scientific documents with great knowledge, which is not used. Why is it not used? Because it is not understood. And then it is not estimated as the solution for the world. Why? Because it was not time. Now it's time. It was not so big crisis. They made like, broke the nucleus of the atom, atomic bomb, nuclear reactors, Now we know that actually all of that is just a false spirituality. You know what is maybe the, let's say, the crown example of the false spirituality? It is the theory of relativity, Einstein's theory of relativity. It completely broke the direction of thinking to a solution in science. You know, for example, we all know that all the time is now. But in theory of relativity, it is written that there is no now. Because from the one position to the other position in space, you have different local present times. And that is simply not true. Because if it is so, then this word, because it will not be synchronous with itself, simultaneous with itself, will not exist. I would not be able, if theory of relativity is true, that I will not be able to see you or to speak you just now. So that is one of the really good example of a false spirituality in science. Why false spirituality? Because a real spirituality deals with truth and not with, let's say, magic of mathematics. Because we have mathematics which creates the world, and that is a simple one. Everybody knows. But we do not understand that essentially. When you say zero, everybody knows what is zero. But do we understand what really zero is? When you say zero, what we say? There are no borders to zero. So zero is a number which represents or model the infinity. But that infinity is a real infinity. It's not only our impression of infinity. It is a real infinity. And that is a mathematics which is not invented by man, but only discovered by man. It is given mathematics which is inbuilt in the nature, which is created by God, which is transcendental in a way that the human mind cannot understand God, but can understand the God creation. And that is why scientific and science and spirituality and scientific approach and spiritual approach all together can help to the people. And when we understand God's creation, then we can go over death, over illness, and over aging. And that those are our real problems of everybody, in this room or anywhere. So that's why spiritual science is really needed, because our mind is able to help us, because it is given by a higher entity, or let's say much higher deity. We have to admit. For example, I'm coming from a communistic country, which was Yugoslavia, then Serbia, and so on for a short time, and that was atheism. Materialism and atheism was official doctrine. But then I never could accept that, because when I read, and I will citate him, you know, René Descartes, philosopher, he said that every rational man can believe in God, or must believe in God, but must believe. So I am completely sure that our science can solve all the problem of humanity. The only, what I cannot guarantee that it is possible, but it also holds for spiritual men as scientists and philosophers and artists, is to understand why this world is created and how. But that we can understand infinity, that we can understand time, that we can understand what consciousness is, universal and individual, what is that? I think that we absolutely, in science and in spirituality all together, are able to solve all of that. And then I don't know what is going to happen. But at this moment, we have to transform our materialistic civilization on the earth, which is at the end, into spiritualistic and scientific civilization, and that is why we are here. And I feel that that is a vibration coming from higher levels, which incites our conversation today, and this will continue. I'm completely sure in a couple of years we'll have first results on that plane. So we are going to read what are the laws, and to apply those laws to make our life much better.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Maybe you want to respond?
We bring something for Manoj and the foundation. This is the reason why I want to say something, but you please first concluded.
Well, surely. I mean, we can do something like that before we conclude. I actually wanted to do something like this. Manoj Deka, who has been the brain and the man behind this show, is someone who comes from Assam, a place 1,500 kilometers away from the national capital here. For him and his team to conceptualize this thing and gather people from so many different countries and to have a conversation, a stimulating discussion like this, I think it's truly wonderful, and it speaks volume about this man's commitment to the legacy that Nikola Tesla and Swami Vivekananda had presented to us. So it will be in order to give him a big round of applause to him and to his team as well. And also, he just told me that he wanted to honor all the participants here, and also Serbia's Deputy Mission Lazar Y. Vukadinovic for their active participation and support. Please go ahead.
I would request the volunteers to please bring the packets.
We will establish Tesla Square now, with all of you together, with Manoj, with Foundation, and then we will give
I
a
request
gift
Sachiji also
from
to come
our
to the podium.
side to Manoj. Okay. Oh, to je od... Doze, ti bolje znaš. Oh, oh. Sorry. Now, yes, please. And we, yes, okay. Look, I don't need it. This first, and then press the start. Chair. Yes, look at. No, wait, we need to establish that. Yes, look at it. Thank you so much. Now we Tesla Square. Table. Tesla Square. First of all, I want to manage, please, with all of you together, Tesla Square, sorry, please, on the left. I will be from your left side. With all of you to establish first Tesla Square here. Please, thank you. Each foundation. Swami Vivekananda and Nikola. It's a really great day. Thank you so much. It will be in your office. We will coordinate all around the world. And we prepare the one beautiful also portrait of Nikola Tesla as a gift of Professor Abramovich, please. Goran, all of us, please. All together this time. Yes? Yes, please. Okay. You can come with all of us together. I will be very happy to have this. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yes, from Tesla Square, Tesla Spirit. And hoping to see you all maybe one day in Serbia, not maybe the same time, but step by step. Yes, please. Yes, look at it. Yes, yes, please. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.